Hey, what is going on, IK Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder, and today we are back again, giving you some Infinity Kingdom good Gucci loveness. Not too much love, IK, if you know what I mean. But one of the things I do want to talk about today is at least highlighting some of the new features and changes that we have seen and just walk you through it visually and possibly throw in some tips along the way. Before we get started, as usual, make sure you guys sub, like, ring that notification bell. Of course, if you want to join and be a part of our conversation, you can find our Discord in the pinned comment and description down below. Okay, so here we go. Initially, we are going to start off talking after I'm able just to get one quick gnome hit in Fantastico. All right, so let's just look at some of the obvious visual changes. So one of the first things I'm sure most of us are noticing is one, now there are level 9 and even 10 RSS tiles, right? So just to give you an example, let me see if I could find an 8. Oh, awesome. So we have the 8, 9, 10. Look at this. So you got 724K plus the 200 if you own the district. So you're looking at 924K gathering speed per hour, right? Which means you're going to finish this in what, about 4.5 hours for 4 mil. Then if you look at the 9, right, that goes up to 6 mil, and now you're at 905K per hour plus 250. Right now we're looking at, what is that, 1155, right, K per hour. So we're looking at, what is that, 11, if I gotta do some math here real quick, 1155, so 1.55 mil that you're gathering per hour, right? So this is going to take what, maybe 5.5, 5.75 hours to do the 6 mil. So again, right, compared to a little before that we were getting before there, right? So again, a little bit faster that you're getting it with the 6 mil reserves, but you got to be Lord level 40. And so I think it's going to be interesting to see how fast players will be able to hit Lord level 40, especially if they're starting over with a new account. Oh my god, late night recordings, that's how we do it. Excuse me. And then when we look at RSS level 10, right, you'll see here you got the 1.1 mil gathering speed, which can go to 1.4. But this only goes, like, you'll notice this here, right? So we got 4, this goes to 6. My thought this would be at 8 mil, right? Just because of the trend that it was going for +2 instead of +1. But you get 1.4 mil, almost 1.5. So you're looking at 3 over 4 hours, a little more than that. Over 2 hours. And then you're looking at 6 over 4, about. So again, right here, right, you're looking at about 5 hours. It seems like, right, give or take 1.4. Yeah, because 5, maybe 5.5, give or take, that you're going to be able to do 7. So again, it looks like if you have the bonus here, you'll probably be able to do 7 in about the same time you can do a 9. But remember, to do the 10, you got to be Lord level 45. And so, again, I understand they did add in some more of the growth missions, right? So they did some increases in some areas, right? They even reset trained troops, right? I used to have a lot here on trained troops, and it looks like they reset it just to give you an opportunity to have more Lord levels that are coming in. So this is something you could probably grind this out if you just did a lot of refreshing, or if you did something where you had some resources saved up and maybe you just wanted to boost this specific growth mission as kind of one tip, right? So maybe like during double rewards as an example, or strategic reserves, you could just grind out doing a bunch of gnome and boss attacks and then training. So that's something to keep in mind as a kind of one way to boost this growth mission. Then you have, again, the new Well of Time experiences with the additional levels, right? Advanced summonings. Again, these are all standard research technology, right? Upgrading dragons to new level, right, upgrading your immortals to higher classes, right, gathering from higher level RSS tiles, of course, once you are able to. Again, you're able to defeat higher level gnomes, which is nice. And they, of course, have the main ones here, right, that you're going to be able to do. I think doing some of the main quests, especially if you're already at 40, is probably going to be more objective based that will help you grind some of those higher Lord level talents. So just keep an eye for that, as I think that will be a healthy tip to do. Outside of that, also some of the cities have been seeing increases. So this would be something interesting, right, that I'll show you right here. So we're going to take a look, we're going to zoom out, and we're going to look and show the initial city levels. So this is something that happens, at least is what we anticipate is going to happen once you hit Season 2, right, where you're going to see some of the initial levels go up here. And just to give you an example on how this looks, let me see if I can. Oh, you know what, I can. I was just thinking maybe I could show you my other screen here, but I'd have to go to a newer. Yeah, okay, here. This is what we'll do. Cool. I just want to give you guys an example real quick, and show you what it's like. I just don't know how far I'm gonna have to scroll for this one. Okay, here we go. Cool, I found it. So let me swap this screen. I just want to give you a quick example on what it's like in a new server, just so you can see the comparison for what some of the early levels are. So what do I have to do here? We'll do, okay, cool. So this is what I'll do. I don't know, I don't want to like enlarge this too much. Okay, cool. I guess that kind of works. So I'm just going to give you an example, right? This is a brand new account on the newest server. And so what I'm going to do once I can scroll past this area, okay, cool. So we're going to go outside. I'm going to show you just what some of the initial levels are here from a new server, and then we'll go back and show you the comparison. So let's zoom out, and then here we're going to go show initial levels. So you can see here that like this is a level 2, a level 1, 1, 2, right? And then you can see it goes up to 9. Right, but then when we go back, so we're going to go off here, we'll go back here now to the main screen, and now you're seeing here the initial levels of 6 and 7, right, starting and then going up to 13 and 14, right. In addition to that, durability has gone up a lot as well. Let me just give you an example here. So if we look at what would originally have been a, let's see here on my other one. So what originally would have been, let me see here. This is, we'll just do this one. This is Breedom Artis. I think Breedom Artis should be an 8. It is. Okay, cool. So this is what we'll do. Watch this. So we're going to take a look at Breedom Artis. Right. So let's go and take a look wherever the city is. Oh God, did I lose it? Here we go. So here's Breedom Artis. Wall durability is 252 million. Right. This is a level 8 city. Oh God, I wish I could see the inside. I'll have to look at if I can find some kind of a dock. But anyways, here, we'll go back now to the main just to show you the difference. And then if we go to the main, we'll look at Breedom Artis here, right? So we're at 252 million. Now we're at 714 million for wall durability, right? Now, remember, this was an 8. It went up 5 levels. So you can make the argument that it is somewhat comparable. But if you look at the Garrison Power, right, which is at here 106,984, pretty much 107,000, right? This is really important, just as kind of a general takeaway. So before, right, and I actually have the numbers here right in front of me. So before, the regular Garrison Power for a level 8 city was 68,728. Right, so you're pretty much at 69,000. So you're looking at 31 plus 7. You're looking at about a 38K increase from the level 8 to this level 13. Right, so that's a lot. Now, again, I don't think we'll have to see how this plays out. Right, in some of the servers that have hit season 2. Bearing in mind that servers that are older are obviously going to have a little bit more of an advantage because they just might have the chances to have more of an average player base that is stronger, even though this may not apply for every single old server, right? Because activity is going to be a big part of that. But if your server is, healthy, semi-healthy, you have activity, and you're an older server, an example of this would be like comparing server 8 to server 79. Right, server 8 is going to obviously have a higher, on average, player base of stronger players for their true power versus 79 is because it is a newer server, right? So they'll probably have an easier time capturing some of these higher level cities, right, where they're taking overall less losses than an example of a server like 79, or even if you want to go to a server like 99, right, as an example. Okay, so that kind of shows off something there with the city. You can also notice that they have redone some of the RSS zones are the same, but if I go to like an RSS zone 1, right, you'll notice here that you're seeing higher level, you're still seeing some 1s, right, but you're seeing higher level RSS tiles, right, so you're pretty much seeing what it looks to be like 6s and 7s. I don't even think I've seen a 5 yet, but like 6s and 7s for the tiles. You're still seeing some lower level gnomes. Again, you're also seeing, yeah, it looks like that. I'm not even seeing anything around a 5. So I think essentially what they did here is by upgrading the RSS zones and kind of raising those minimum thresholds, now you're going to end up having more of the higher RSS tiles per each zone that players will be able to farm in a more plentiful way. And I think that's one way to kind of solve the overcrowding or kind of overpopulation of servers where maybe they may feel at times where they're not able to always get an 8, always get a 7. Now it will eventually be, always kind of get a 9 or always get a 10. And these are just things that I think with the way they did it here, it is actually creative with the way that they have approached it by just kind of raising that bare minimum threshold. And I think it is one way to address it. We'll have to just see what those effects are going to be, right? What's that end result going to look like for RSS tiles as more players start to get to Lord level 40, and then beyond. Now, from there, let's go ahead and just take a look at some of the Immortals, right, for some of the other changes. So you can see here that Immortals can now start getting leveled past 40. Now, the big note here is that, and this is what I did not know going into this, is that you can actually go all the way up to level 50, right? So, and I don't know if we can see this based on castle level that we have access to, but I initially thought it was going to be, they were just going to release 5 levels at a time, right? So season 2, they would release 5 levels up to castle 40. You could take your dragon to 45, castle to 45, other buildings to 45, your immortal levels to 45. But now what I'm hearing is that you can actually go all the way to 50, right? And you can see that pretty much mimicked here as well, right, where you're able to go all the way up to 50. So I didn't realize that it was going to be 10 levels now, because remember, when the Conquest season comes up, which is 2 KVK seasons away, they're going to increase levels again. So the assumption is that it's probably going to go to maybe 60, arguably, from what we're seeing. And if we take a look at these, right, you can see here that you're basically going to hit T6 troops at level 45 and then T7 at level 50, right? Remember, the difference here is that every 10 levels you were hitting a different one. That's actually what my thought was going to be, right? This to me, again, I don't obviously want to speak too soon on it. We're going to have to see how it plays out. But I think ideally I would have loved for them to stay consistent here and have T6 be at 50, and then if they're going to release 10 more levels, then have T7 be at 60, right? If you're going to do it like that. Just because I think it's more consistent and in line with what they have historically done, right, since the beginning of the game. With that in mind, right, let's briefly take a look at some Immortals. And as I said, right, you can increase boost levels now, and you can go higher than that. Again, you can start increasing the Lord level. I've even started doing a little bit of increase here on some of the epic gear. Not too much, but just a little bit. Thankfully, talk skills have remained the same, so we really haven't seen a change there. Again, we talked about higher level gnomes, higher level gnome bosses, and then the RSS tiers, how those work. Now, there are some new academy techs that we can briefly go over. I don't believe there was anything in production from what I took a gander at before. Yeah, there's not. And then if we look here at troops, right, everything is pretty standard as far as for essentially kind of what we have. Now, they have added some of these, right? So remember before it was like Million Heroes, Metal Quick Release, right? And then you kind of had the kind of ones. So some of these are new, right? Where you have the consumption, right? So woods used for training. Same thing with wood. So you got wood, stone, iron, and food, right? So these 4 are new that have been added in, where it just reduces the amount. And you can get an example here, right, where it'll go all the way to 10%. So you'll save 10% on the resources here that are used arguably for each, right, which is nice. And again, you can see that the different rate is there. And then let's look at Immortals, right? So if we go to the Immortals tab, we'll also see some new items that have been added in here as well. And you can see it goes, it's pretty deep, really. So now what we're having, and I think some of these are pretty consistent because I didn't actually get too far down my list. And someone might actually have to reconnect me. I actually haven't memorized my Immortal list as much as I have. Immortals energy recovery speed. Ooh, so I think energy surge is new, and then I think some of these ones here at the end, with the exception of possibly the end ones here. I believe these are new that we're seeing. So again, right, Spearman Immortals magic. Oh yeah, this is because they added the magic pen and the resistance. Let me see here. Yeah, see pen resistance, and then we have pen resistance value. Bowman. Oh wow, so they're actually increasing troop number too as well. So again, a couple decent. It looks like a few more new techs on the Immortal tab than the troops one, and then we finally get to defense. Where I'm going to be honest, I'm probably going to be oblivious here because I haven't gone too deep in. But from what I've heard, they've added in some higher tier level ones for this. Oh yeah, see, now you can see the T6 troops. Or I'm sorry, this is T7. And then you have the T6. Yeah, so those are the new ones. You have the T6 fortifications, T7 fortifications that are new, and I'm sure a few other items here. So again, adding a few more techs. It just doesn't look like they added anything to production, but they did add a few more to the other three. And then lastly, we'll talk briefly about Tower of Knowledge, which, let's see here. So again, they did add in quite a few more. And it's Iron Will. Let me see here. I gotta go up a bit. Okay, so 36 is the first area where we are seeing some new text be added, right? This is Guard. You're seeing Vitality Touch here. And then let me see, we got two more here, which is Jade Barrier. We have Purification. We got Spear Impale. We got Sniper, right? So that makes 6 new. And then now we're getting some new purples and then a bunch of new epics, right? That you can see here from 41 onwards. So a lot of new TOK skills. The good thing here is that the level has not increased. So right, it is staying at 8, which is nice, and I think it's pretty consistent with essentially how that is working. And that pretty much for the most part. Now we also have got some rumors that they're going to be adding some new immortals to Hall of Immortals. Now that has not been done yet, because even if you go into Hall of Immortals, oh my gosh, you can see here that there's not any new epics now, but we have heard they may be adding possibly 2 more to where you can pull these. And beyond that, I want to say the very last thing that I want to touch on is actually what I think is a very nice, healthy change, something that they added in from community suggestion, which is that now you can finally purify additional chests. So I can go in here and click Purify while I already have a chest going. This was a widely and consistently long recommendation that we've had from the community for a while, so really awesome to see them add that in, because I think that has definitely been a crowd community favorite and just a nice quality of life addition. Beyond that, I think that pretty much covers everything. There's no new Chronicle levels that we noticed, and I think it'll just be, I'm sure, even though I'm attempting to try and cover as much as I can think of, I'm sure I'm probably going to miss something. I think right now in 79, there's like 1 player. Yes, so Zakai hit Castle 42. Right, so some people are already kind of increasing that. I don't know if True Power has actually already gone up quite a bit, because I think some of these people were around mid 230s. From what I recalled. So again, or I should say low 230s actually. So some true power increasing, some castle levels that are increasing as well from some players here. And yeah, that pretty much covers at least everything I can think of and go over. We'll definitely do some deep dives into the new Academy tax, maybe see if there's a different priority path that we can suggest. And then we'll also do another deep dive on the new TOK, Tower of Knowledge skills, as well in a later video. I really just wanted to kind of have this be a brief overview coverage on some of the new additions that have been added in since the 1.8 patch, and some things that came in after the 1.8 patch as well, finally fully kicked in. With all of that being said, let me know what you guys think, right, in the comments down below, right? How are you taking the new level increases so far? What are your thoughts on it? Again, are you happy to see it? Are you enjoying being able to upgrade buildings past 40 now? Right? Do you think maybe they should have waited? Do you like the new Trove edition by being able to purify chests? Anything and everything you're thinking, let me know in those comments down below. That is it for me. Until next time, we'll catch y'all later.